There. So I believe we're up and running again with sound. So our next item is the declarations of office. And before any business of council can be undertaken, council-elect must make a declaration of office in order to sit as the council of the Township of North Huron. The importance of this declaration should not be understated. Section 232 of the Municipal Act states that you cannot take a seat as council until this declaration has been made. Failure to make this declaration has the same effect as resigning from council. The declaration of office form, a copy of which I have for each of you, is prescribed and established by the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing for this purpose. When I call your name, please make your way over to the podium for your declaration. The declaration must be read out loud in its entirety in order for the declaration to be made. Once you've completed speaking, you will sign the form swearing or affirming your declaration. As a commissioner of oaths, I will duly sign and witness to the declaration of office. So now I'll ask Reeve-elect Paul Heffer to join me at the podium. So Reeve-elect Heffer, would you like to swear or affirm?
I'll swear.
So please repeat after me. I, Paul Heffer, having been elected or appointed to the office of Reeve.
I, Paul Heffer, having been elected or appointed to the office of Reeve
In the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron.
in the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron,
Do solemnly promise and declare that
do solemnly promise and declare that
I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward
I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward
or promise thereof
or promise thereof
for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner.
for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner.
I will disclose any pecuniary interest,
I will disclose any pecuniary interests,
direct or indirect,
direct or indirect,
in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III,
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III,
and I make this solemn promise and declaration,
and I will make this solemn promise and declaration,
conscientiously believing it to be true,
conscientiously believing it to be true,
and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Thank you. So, Reeve Heffer, if you want to sign here. Thank you. So we will now proceed with the councilors-elect in alphabetical order. So if Kevin Falconer wants to join me at the podium. There's a copy for you there. And did you want to swear or affirm? Okay. So please repeat after me. I, Kevin Falconer, having been elected or appointed to the office of Councillor, Blythe Ward,
I, Kevin Faulkner, having been elected and appointed to the office of Councillor for Blythe Ward
in the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron,
in the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron,
do solemnly promise and declare that
do solemnly promise and declare that
I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward
I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward
or promise thereof,
for the exercise of this office
in a biased, corrupt, or improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III.
And I make this solemn promise and declaration, conscientiously believing it to be true, and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath. Thank you, Councillor Falconer. So if you sign there. Thank you. So I'll now ask Rick McBurney to join me at the podium. Copy for you. And would you like to swear or affirm?
Sure.
So please repeat after me. I, Rick McBurney, having been elected or appointed to the office of Councillor, Blythe Ward,
I, Rick McBurney, having been elected to the office of the Councillor of the Blythe Ward
in the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron,
in the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron,
do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward.
I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward.
Or promise thereof. For the exercise of this office. In a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest. Direct or indirect. In accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III.
And I make this solemn promise. And declaration. Conscientiously believing it to be true. And knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath. Thank you, Councillor McBurney. And if you want to sign right there. Oh. Thank you, Councillor McBurney. And so I will now ask Councillor or Anita Van Hittersum to join me at the podium. Oh, my apologies. I will now ask Chris Palmer to join me at the podium. So please repeat after me. I, Chris Palmer. Having been elected or appointed to the office of Councillor, East Wawanosh Ward.
Having been elected or appointed to the office of the East Wawanosh Ward.
In the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron.
In the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron.
Do solemnly promise and declare that. I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I have not received, and I will not receive, any payment or reward.
I have not received or will not receive any payment or reward.
Or promise thereof.
or promise thereof
for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner.
for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner.
I will disclose any pecuniary interest,
I will disclose any pecuniary interest,
direct or indirect,
direct or indirect,
in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III.
And I make this solemn promise and declaration,
And I make this solemn promise and declaration,
conscientiously believing it to be true,
conscientiously believing it to be true,
and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as made under oath.
Thank you, Councillor Palmer. And if you want to sign right there. Great. Thank you, Councillor Palmer. So this time, I will now ask Anita Van Henderson to join me at the podium. And would you like to swear? There's a copy. So please repeat after me. I, Anita Van Henderson, having been elected or appointed to the office of Councillor East Wamanash Ward,
I, Anita Van Henderson, having been elected or appointed to the office of Councillor East Wamanash Ward
in the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron,
in the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron,
do solemnly promise and declare that
do solemnly promise and declare that
I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward
I have not received and will not receive any payments or reward
or promise thereof
or promise thereof
for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner.
for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner.
I will disclose any pecuniary interest,
I will disclose any pecuniary interest,
direct or indirect,
direct or indirect,
in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III.
And I make this solemn promise and declaration,
And I make this solemn promise and declaration,
conscientiously believing it to be true,
conscientiously believing it to be true,
and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
So thank you, Councillor Van Henderson. If you want to sign right there. Great. Thank you, Councillor Van Henderson.
Thank you.
So I'll now ask Lonnie Whitfield to join me at the podium. There's a copy for you. And would you like to swear or affirm?
Affirm.
Okay, so if you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Lonnie Whitfield,
I, Lonnie Whitfield,
having been elected or appointed to the office of Councillor Wingham Ward
having been elected or appointed to the office of Councillor of Wingham Ward
in the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron,
in the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron,
do solemnly promise and declare that
do solemnly promise and declare that
I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I will truly, faithfully, impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward
I have not received and/or will not receive any payment, reward, or promise thereof
for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner.
for the exercise of this office in biased, corrupt, or any improper manner.
I will disclose any pecuniary interest,
I will disclose any pecuniary interest,
direct or indirect,
direct or indirect,
in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest
in
Act.
accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His King Majesty, King Charles III.
And I make this solemn promise and declaration,
And I make this solemn promise and declaration,
conscientiously believing it to be true,
conscientiously believing it to be true,
and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as made under oath.
Thank you, Councillor Whitfield. And if you want to sign right there. Thank you. And so I will now call Councillor-elect Mitch Wright to the podium. And did you want to swear or affirm?
I'll swear.
Okay. So if you want to place your hand on the Bible. I, Mitch Wright, having been elected or appointed to the office of Councillor Wingham Ward,
I, Mitch Wright, having been elected or appointed to the office of Councillor Wingham Ward
in the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron,
in the municipality of the Corporation of the Township of North Huron,
do solemnly promise and declare that
do solemnly promise and declare that
I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I will truthfully, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability.
I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward,
I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward,
or promise thereof,
or promise thereof,
for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any improper manner.
for the exercise of this office in any biased, corrupt, or improper manner.
I will disclose any pecuniary interest,
I will disclose any pecuniary interest,
direct or indirect,
direct or indirect,
in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III.
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III.
And I make this solemn promise and declaration,
And I make this solemn promise and declaration,
conscientiously believing it to be true,
conscientiously believing it to be true,
and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. So if you want to sign there. Thank you. So now that all declarations have been duly signed, I confirm and acknowledge that as per Section 231 of the Municipal Act, the 2022 to 2026 term of council is deemed to be formally organized. Congratulations to all council members. So we will now move to agenda item 3, which is the service of invocation. So please join me in welcoming Pastor Jason Gilbert to the stage to provide the service of invocation.
Good evening. I would like to thank the newly elected Reeve and town officials for affording me this great honor to be here this evening to do this invocation. The call to public office is a noble calling. The Bible declares that all authority comes from God, and those in positions of authority have been placed there by God. And although you were freely elected by the citizens of this great community, you have been granted this great honor of governing by God. The Bible teaches that those who govern are God's servants, placed in this position for our good. As a citizen of North Huron, I want to thank you for not only allowing your name to stand for election, but for stepping up to fulfill a very important role, a very high and noble calling. And I urge you, as a town council, to put God first and seek him for wisdom and counsel as you lead us. Now, you might not be aware of this, but people complain about the government. And so your task over these next years will be a thankless one. You will be misunderstood by people. You will have evil spoken of you. You will face opposition. You will have to make tough decisions that will not be popular. You will have to endure slander. But please know that there are many of us who support you, who stand behind you, and who have committed to pray for you regularly. There are many of us who've got your back, who will be available for you when you need support and encouragement. And there are many of us who are grateful to God for you. And as a pastor in this community, I stand ready to be of service to you. And to the citizens of this great community, I ask that you uphold these public servants in prayer, that you thank them often for rising to this task, that you give them a pat on the back every once in a while, and that you also offer encouragement. And that when you disagree with their decisions, you go through proper channels to voice your grievances and not to slander any of them. Let this be our moment to really come together as a community. And so to our Reeve and town officials, I urge you to put God first in every decision, to listen and serve the people in this community, and to carry out your calling with excellence. The Bible says, trust the Lord with all your heart, and don't depend on your own understanding. Remember the Lord in all you do, and he will give you success. Let's pray, please. Heavenly Father, I give you praise, honor, and glory for your greatness, your power, and love. And on behalf of all of us who are here this evening, I give you thanks. We give thanks for your abundant blessings. We give thanks for our health. We give you thanks for sending Jesus Christ to this earth to pay the penalty for our sins and for giving us a way to heaven someday through Jesus Christ, whose birth we are about to celebrate. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing these great responsibilities. Dear Lord, I thank you so much for these men and women who have answered the call to lead us here in North Huron. I pray abundant blessings on them personally and on their families and on our community. I pray that you would keep these men and women in good health so they can lead us in the future that you have for us. And you have instructed us in your holy word to obey and pray for the governing authorities, since you have ordained those authorities to promote peace and order and justice. Therefore, I pray for our Reeve, the various levels of town officials, and in particular for this assembled council. I thank you that you would grant them, I ask that you would grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting issues and interests of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together even when there is honest disagreement, and for personal peace in their lives and joy in their task. I pray for protection on them, that they would sense your presence as they begin their responsibilities. We pray for their success as leaders, and we pray for the various communities of North Huron, that you would keep us in peace and in prosperity. In the name of Jesus Christ, the strong Son of God, I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Gilbert, for those words. So we will now move on to agenda item 4, which is the presentation of the gavel and chain of office to the Reeve. So at this time, I invite Reeve Heffer to join me at the front of the stage for this presentation. So with that, we will move on to the next agenda item, which is the inaugural address of the Reeve. So Reeve Heifer, when you're ready there, if you want to provide your inaugural address.
So right here. I think you said it was going to last, what, 15 minutes, was it? Got my phone call here. Thanks, Wayne. I would like to congratulate each of you on your successful campaigns. Over the last few weeks, it has been very busy for each of us. I'd just like to take a little bit, talk about our journey. We have a very unique municipality. We have 3 hamlets, 1 village, 1 rural township, and 1 town. We're surrounded by 4 municipalities whom we share services. I started off my talk trying to go to the different parts of our municipality. I started in the village of Blythe. It's a busy time down there. It's around the Steam Threshers Week. But the person came to me on the main street and told me, remember, this place is known for its arts, theater, and agriculture. I think that's quite a combination right there. You can see by the growing of the outdoor theater down in the local soccer field used to be, how it's been growing. And then you see the House and Mill Transports, Hubbard's Trucks, and at the south end of the village, you see the John Deere dealership. It truly is what she called it to be. Now going across Highway number 25 to Auburn, where the northeast corner, there's a few houses and shops. Then you go down to the north, down Donnybrook line to Highway 86 to Whitechurch. And on the south side of Highway 86, there's a few houses there. Next was a very interesting journey for me. Weaving through East Wallinosh on the different roads, you could not help but see the beautiful, well-kept homes, buildings, and of course the croplands. Huron County is known as the breadbasket of Ontario. I saw with my own eyes that East Wallinosh helps to fill that basket with their agriculture expertise and the farming of approximately 42,000 acres. Coming north in number 4, we come to a little hamlet of Belgrave. There we see approximately 50 houses and a very busy community center where many of us have played hockey or ball in years past, and it is still going on today. Coming up number 4, we come to a place, Hutton Heights, and we see some homes on Crawford Street and more homes coming on the 3 separately owned properties. The last stop was at 4 and 86, coming north into our main street here in the town of Wingham. And coming up the main street, we saw the different amenities, hospitals, schools, trails, and the many homes on east and west side of the main street. And as you got to the north end of town, you saw the industrial area up to the final street of North Street. That's the township of North Huron, from County Road 25 to North Street. And was mentioned already by Mr. Evans' report about how we're recognizing the whole municipality. As we get our agendas and reports prior to our meetings, we'll have ample time to ask questions to Dwayne or senior staff and come to the council chambers well prepared as residents expect us to be for a profitable meeting. All council will have the opportunity to speak and participate in discussion. I know we'll have various opinions, but we will make the best decision for all the residents of North Huron. It is expected of us. Let's do it well. There was a clear message in your platforms you presented at the all candidates meeting. Prepare for asset management, but still provide adequate services for the township of our size. Secondly, it was said many times by you, we must foster strong municipal neighbor relations. As a council, we will endeavor to provide leadership and integrity to the best of our ability to move North Huron forward in the next 4 years and beyond for the betterment of our community. As your Reeve, I thank you very much.
Thank you, Reeve Heffer. So we will now move to agenda item 6, which is the remarks of council members. So for this, we'll proceed in alphabetical order, beginning with Councillor Falconer.
Thank you, Clerk. And I want to first and foremost congratulate the Reeve on his appointment, on his great campaign. His message was loud and clear and was the choice of the people, as it should be. My other gratitude is to the returning councilors. For the last 4 years, I've had the distinct pleasure of having them in this council and being strong advocates for their constituents. And that's the sole purpose of us being here, is to make sure that the voices are heard from all corners. And I delighted in the debates that we've had and the ability to come to a democratic decision on municipal matters. The incoming new 2 councillors for the Wingham Ward, I've known both of them in different respects and found them to be true and proper citizens and a great representation for their ward. The people have made a strong and decisive choice, and I honor them for that because I know the integrity of these 2 will shine coming forward. I just wish everyone, staff and council, going forward, a healthy term, a prosperous term, and to continue to push the business of this municipality forward. Thank you.
Councillor McBurney.
I too would like to congratulate Paul Heffer and the Rose of Reeves. I also like to welcome all us other councillors back again. Welcome the new councillors, Mitch and Lonnie. The last 4 years was the first for myself, and it was a learning experience. I enjoyed it well, and I'm looking forward to the next 4 years for the challenges that are ahead. So, other than that, thank you.
Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, hi, I'm Chris Palmer, Councillor for East Wallinash, and I think we're going to have a lot of repetition here, but that's fine. I want to congratulate you, Reeve Heffer. It was you had a good battle, and for all of us.
Councillor Palmer, if I may just maybe pull Councillor McBurney's mic over.
All right.
Apologies, everyone. That microphone isn't working right now.
Start again or continue?
It's up to you, but yeah, maybe start again.
Okay. Well, anyways, congratulations, Reeve Heffer, and to all of you. I've always been a political person myself, and but when I was first elected here 4 years ago, boy, eyes opened, and it's quite an education. There's nothing like the first tier or lower tier to open your eyes to what politics is really about. And it's biggest part, or the best part of it, is we're so close to the citizens, our ratepayers. That makes the big difference. And it was mentioned that North Huron is a unique municipality. With two towns bookending an agricultural ward. That creates its own challenges, both politically for us and from a staff perspective, managing it. It's quite the challenge. you've got to remember, though, that this special character that we are, we are still different. And that's why we have the ward system, and I will fight to the death for that, to maintain that, because for that, then there's better representation. Like we're all for North Huron. We represent North Huron. But if there's an issue back in our ward, we need to be the spokesperson for that. So that's our job there. Council size. I feel that we need to maintain that. I like the number that we have for 5,000 people, residents. Our number just fits. It offers it fosters the best way of having conversation. And you've got to have a lot of that just to make this system work. It's bad when there's sort of groups here, groups there, but the more people, I think there's the less chance of that, and you get the word out, you can speak. There's room for everybody's words in this business of ours. North Huron has so much to offer, as mentioned. We have the amazing amenities. You know, it satisfies the needs of both old and young. And our new housing starts and planned residential developments will be a welcome addition to the future growth of North Huron. Important issues ahead for me is we've got to get this cross-border agreement as soon as possible. And of course, for us to have smart budgets, we need to have smart spending and smart saving. We need to deal with our asset management, but slow as you go, I believe, because it affects the taxation greatly, but we still have to keep ahead of the maintenance. I am well aware of that. Yeah, council must be open. I believe it is open, transparent, and fair. Our citizens count on it. And we never want to hear, I'm from the government, trust me. Thank you. No one got that. All right. Good. You've never heard it then.
Councillor Van Hitterson.
Thank you. Congratulations to the Reeve and my fellow councillors. I would like to thank the residents of East Wabanos for re-electing me so I can serve our community for 4 more years. I also would like to thank my family, friends, neighbors for their support, encouragement and understanding during the last 4 years. East Wabanos is my home, has my heart and my business. Family and friends are here. I'm so honored to represent you once again. North Huron is a piece of the landscape that makes Huron County and the province. We are a small but mighty township. Our towns, Wingham and Blythe, provide services to a wide area. Auburn, Hutton Heights, Belgrave and Whitechurch are small, friendly hamlets. East Wabanos is mostly prime agricultural land with beautiful parks and nature and helps feed the province. We have a hospital, theaters, arenas, pools, a campground, and multiple great businesses that are used widely and have significant regional importance. The ongoing COVID limitations and related effects and delays have very much slowed down the desired progress and construction over the last 4 years. Rural municipalities like ours have unique challenges. We have to support regional and local services on a very low property assessment. I hope to continue to encourage neighboring and county relations so we will be able to enjoy and share these services in fairness. For the coming 4 years, I will continue to serve, together with the rest of Council, to help make North Huron a progressive, sustainable, affordable rural community where people feel engaged and respected. Thank you.
Councillor Whitfield.
Yes, Lonnie Whitfield, Councillor Wingham Ward. I'd like to congratulate Reeve Heffer on his award to this position. Hopefully we can work together really well. I'd like to thank Councillor Faulkner for the fine words that he has said too. Coming in with 4 existing or returning members of council, they have accepted us as new councillors very well. It's really made it easier for us in order to do this. It is very, very tough what's going to happen as Councilor Palmer just said, there's going to be a lot of things happening. We have a bit of recession on the go. Prices have gone crazy. It's going to be a very tough next 4 years. Hopefully we can work with our municipalities and everything and make this as good or better than the way it is now. Thank you.
And Councillor Wright.
Thanks. I'll also extend my congratulations to you, Reeve, and all you councillors for this next term in office. And I'd also like to thank my wife, Roxanne, for her support and assistance through the election. She really helped. I'd also like to thank my friends and supporters who had a spread the word campaign. You know, I said quite a few times, people do not vote for a name on the sign. And there was a lot of people that knew who I was when I knocked on the door, and so, you know, thank all of you for that. And I'd also like to thank the community for all the thank yous and well wishes that I've received. You know, I did take this opportunity to run so I could serve the community, and it's really nice to see that, you know, they get that, and it's well received. And lastly, I'd like to thank Dwayne Evans, Carson Lamb, and the rest of the directors of North Huron. I can tell the community that, you know, the staff here, you know, really does have a good skill set. You know, you're a talented bunch. And, you know, I really think that we can achieve a lot in the next 4 years working together. And I also I've really enjoyed getting to know the other council members. And, you know, I think we need to make sure that we interact as much as we can on a personal basis. You know, you can sit across the table and debate things all you want, right? But if you know who the other person is, then you understand the meaning behind their words, and it really, you know, fosters cooperation and agreement. And, you know, finally, with the new developments we have on the go at the various stages of initiation, you know, I think it's a really exciting time to be on council. So, you know, I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
Thank you to all the council members for those remarks. So our next item on the agenda is the election of the Deputy Reeve. The Deputy Reeve is selected at the inaugural meeting from within the sitting members of council. The selected Deputy Reeve will serve in the position for the entire term of council. A position description for the Deputy Reeve currently forms Schedule E of the Township's procedure bylaw. The Deputy Reeve position represents the corporation and acts as the head of council in the absence of the Reeve. In regard to the process for the election of the Deputy Reeve, this is set out in Section 5.2 of the Township's procedure bylaw. As the clerk, I will serve as the returning officer, and my administrative assistant, Julie Ireland, will be assisting me as the assistant officer. Any member of council who would like to be considered a candidate for the position of Deputy Reeve is required to declare their candidacy in open council. Once all those who are interested have declared their candidacy, once all nominations have been received for the candidacy of Deputy Reeve, each candidate will be given a 3-minute opportunity to provide any comments that they wish to provide. The election shall be done in alphabetical order by last name, by a show of hands, in open council, and each member of council has 1 vote. If there are more than 2 candidates seeking the position, the person receiving the lowest number of votes in the first vote would then be left off the second vote. So for those familiar with the term, it's basically a ranked ballot election. When a candidate has received the majority of votes, there will be no further voting. So based on the current size of this Township of North Huron Council, a minimum of 4 votes is required for a majority. In the event of a tie, the successful candidate, or in certain circumstances where a second vote is required, the candidate that would remain on the ballot for further voting shall be determined by myself as the returning officer by placing the names of the tied candidates on equal size pieces of paper in a box, and with one of those names being drawn by the assistant officer. The elected candidate will be declared by myself as the clerk and will be confirmed by a resolution of council. So unless there's any questions, I will now open the floor for nominations for Deputy Reeve or for any member to declare their candidacy. So Councillor Falconer?
Yes, I would like to put my name forward for the consideration for the position of Deputy Reeve.
Okay. Councillor Palmer?
Yeah, I declare my name for the position of Deputy Reeve.
Okay.
I would like to declare my name as well.
Okay. So I will call for nominations for the office of Deputy Reeve a second time. So none noted. I will call for nominations for the office of Deputy Reeve a third and final time. So none noted. So I will call the nominations period closed. So Councillor Falconer, you accept, I guess, the nomination for Deputy Reeve?
Yes, I do.
Councillor Palmer, you accept the nomination for Deputy Reeve?
Yes, I do.
And Councillor Van Hittersum, you accept the nomination for Deputy Reeve?
Yes, I do.
So there will be 3 names on the ballot. So we will begin the 3-minute opportunity for each candidate to provide their comments. So we'll begin just in alphabetical order. So Councillor Falconer.
Thank you, Clerk Lamb. The responsibility falls to council to elect the Deputy Reeve. I just want to put forward the my philosophy in dealing with life's people or situations. I believe in allowing things and people to rise and fall on their own merit. I judge people on their merit. I judge myself on merit as to whether it's successful or not. It's an important role of Deputy Reeve, but it's a distinct role, and it's totally separate from my role as a voice for my constituents. In my opinion, that voice stops here in this seat as a councillor. When it's in the position of deputy chief, it only has 2 main characters that have to be considered. One is the ability to clearly and transparently transfer the democratic decisions of this council to public when they ask questions. And if the situation arises, to defend those decisions that we've made. As we've know that we do sometimes come under fire for the decisions that we make. And secondly, it is to promote and be of service to the Reeve. Reeve was elected on his election platform and his promises and his vision, and it is the Deputy Reeve position to support that. And when in that Deputy Reeve position, that is all that position requires. It's a total separation from this chair as a councillor. And I put my name forward because I profess to have that ability to do that. And I put my merit out there of the last 4 years, as the standing council has seen that I have the passion. I will debate. I'm a firm believer in this democratic process, and that's why I put my name forward. But I do want to state that those are 3 separate pieces of municipal councillor life. I will still debate for my constituents while sitting in the councillor's chair. But under the will and the pleasure of the Reeve, which gets to dictate what courses that to take as a Deputy Reeve, is at his pleasures. Whatever he needs to support his position is the Deputy Reeve's responsibility, and whatever takes for the Deputy Reeve to support your position as councillors to the public are the only 2 rules that a Deputy Reeve has to go by. And again, I put forward my morals and my tribulations for your debate and considerations as Deputy Reeve. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Falconer. So, Councillor Palmer.
Reeve, fellow councillors, guests, I feel so honored that I am able to put my name forward and stand for Deputy Reeve. I was asked to consider this position because that person had confidence in me. This was a colossal ask, however. It's one that you don't take lightly, because if you're honest, you're going to ask yourself, can I really handle the position? Do I know all the facets of it? Will council benefit from me being there? And after all, Trevor Sight, he set a high bar. He was a good Deputy Reeve. Well, after some reflection and a lot of discussion with my wife, and confidently knowing that I have the experience, the necessary experience garnered from the last 4 years as being a counselor, I decided, yes, I'm right able and willing to take on this new challenge. And yes, I'm able to work with council to better position North Huron for success in the future. I come before you with no personal agenda. As many of you know, there's no special, every issue is equal to me. I only bear one thing, and is that I love where we live. And the other is that I seek to serve in whatever helpful capacity I can. And so you get a better idea of where I'm coming from and where my head is at. Part of my decision-making process hinges on 3 measurements. Number 1, how practical is it? Is it useful? Is it measurable? Is it even feasible? And number 2 is my common sense meter. And that's where you use sound judgment, you exercise wisdom, and you endeavor to make an intellectual decision, not an emotional one. And of course, you've got to ask, is the decision going to affect, or is it good for all, or is it just for a select few? Well, third, this one's critical. Finally, I look at all issues through an economic lens. This should be a bedrock to all our financial decisions. You've heard me refer to cost-benefit before. Well, I always ask, what is the financial return, or what is the social return for this investment that we're making? Folks, this is where the rubber hits the road. It's essential that we put our thinking caps on today because, money is in short supply, taxes are high, grants are scarce, and our expenses are just skyrocketing. So I use a simple golden rule when deciding on all issues. Always, always remember that we are duty-bound to our ratepayer. And fellow councillors, I promise to work hard at this position, and I would do my best. And thank you for your support.
Thank you, Councillor Palmer. Councillor Van Hitterson.
Honourable Reeve and councillors, I would like to ask for your support for my bid for Deputy Reeve. For the last 4 years, I have shown my leadership as a member of the Physicians Recruitment Committee, the Cross-Border Service Committee, as chair of the North Huron Economic Development and Recovery Committee, and as a board member for the Maitland Valley Conservation Authority. I was elected to be the municipal representative for 5 surrounding municipalities on the North Perth North Huron Family Health Team. I am also a board member for Community Futures Huron. Being a board member of these committees shows you where my interests lay. They tell you my regional and local commitments, protecting farmland and nature, supporting and attracting businesses, workers, accessible and local quality healthcare and childcare, housing, employment, and road safety. We have many opportunities to face for the coming years. To name a few, we have aging infrastructure. We need a plan for maintenance and replacement for our assets. Hutton High's request for proposal is open now, and I hope we can move forward without any negative effects from Rail 23 that seeks to transfer costs from developers to residents, which can have negative effects on our taxes. The Wingham standpipe will be replaced. High-speed internet needs to expand. Under the current economic circumstances, I hope to make development happen to keep our community affordable and attractive for future generations. Volunteers are the heart and soul of a community. I hope, with all of you, to find an opportunity to celebrate their endeavors and show them our appreciation. I will face these challenges with an open mind to find a solution that is best for the well-being and interest of the whole community. I am prepared to devote time, energy, and everything necessary to perform the added responsibility of Deputy Reeve. I will continue to serve, listen, and advocate for North Huron by being honest, transparent, and respectful. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Van Hittersum. So just as a reminder, each member of council gets one vote, and the candidate with the majority of votes will be declared the Deputy Reeve for the 2022 to 2026 term of council. So I will call each name in alphabetical order, and please raise your hand if that is the candidate you wish to vote for. So I will now conduct the election. So by show of hands, all those who wish to appoint Councillor Falconer as Deputy Reeve, please raise your hand. By show of hands, all those who wish to appoint Councillor Palmer as Deputy Reeve, please raise your hands. By show of hands, all those who wish to appoint Councillor Van Hittersum as Deputy Reeve, please raise your hands. So seeing as we have 3-2 vote, we will need to conduct a second vote. So to determine who the second candidate remains, we will draw that name by lot. So Councillor Palmer's name and Councillor Van Hittersum's name will go in the ballot, and the name that is drawn will remain on the ballot with Councillor Falconer. So at this time, I'll ask the assistant officer to draw a name. And so the name that will remain on the ballot is Councillor Palmer. So at this point, we will need to conduct the second vote. So there are two candidates who remain. So Councillor Falconer and Councillor Palmer. So again, each member of council gets one vote, and the candidate with the majority of votes will be declared the Deputy Reeve. So I will call the names again in alphabetical order, and if you wish to vote for that councillor, please raise your hand at that time. So by show of hands, all those who wish to appoint Councillor Falconer as Deputy Reeve for the Township of North Huron, please raise your hands. By show of hands, all those who wish to appoint Councillor Palmer as Deputy Reeve for the Township of North Huron, please raise your hands. So with 5 votes to 2 votes, your next Deputy Reeve is Councillor Falconer.
Thank you. Thank you.
So at this time, I will look for a motion of council. So the motion would be that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby elects Councillor Falconer as the Deputy Reeve for the Township of North Huron for the 2022 to 2026 term of council. Do I have a mover? So Councillor Van Hittersum moves and Councillor Whitfield seconds. All in favor? Carries. So I will note that the Deputy Reeve Chair is actually the one Councillor, or I guess Deputy Reeve Falconer is already sitting in, so that makes things easy. You will remain in that spot. So our next item of business is greetings from invited guests, and there are no invited guests in attendance tonight. So we will move on to the confirmatory bylaw. So looking for a motion that bylaw number 104-2022, being a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify matters dealt with by the Council of the Township of North Huron at the November 21st, 2022 meeting, be introduced, read a first, second, third, and final time, be signed by the Reeve clerk, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Do I have a mover?
I'll move that.
So Deputy Reeve Falconer moves, and seconded by Councillor McBurney. All in favor? So that motion carries. And adjournment. So looking for a motion that the Council of the Township of North Huron agree that there being no further business before Council, the meeting be hereby adjourned at 7:04 p.m. Do I have a mover? Councillor Whitfield moves, and seconded by Councillor Van Hittersum. All in favor? Carries.